Right now I'm on my way to check out a 96 Skidoo Formula Z. It's a 600 3-cylinder, roughly in the 125 horsepower range. It'll push 100 mile an hour, so it's a lot faster than my Jag, which does 34 with the bad belt. Well, not bad, but slightly worn, which I'll get fixed today. And I was going to go check out another couple of sleds, make a trade. One needs a ski and possibly 2 skis or a linkage. So something that said something's rusty on it. And I'll have to check that out. And the other one and the other sled the guy has no spark, so I'm hoping to make a 2-for trade on that. Do a barter deal so I don't have to pay cash, because I don't want to pay cash for something that doesn't run. But ignition parts for that cat are not that expensive, really. The coil is pretty reasonable. The CDI box is not that expensive, relatively speaking. Now, if it's a stator that's causing a problem, that could be expensive. That's the main guts of the electrical system. Now, that's the heart of it. But it could be as simple as the throttle switch, because some of those Arctic cats, I think, had some sort of throttle position sensor for the ignition. So that could be bad. I think that's a pretty easy fix. I've seen that be the problem of no spark. So we'll see how good this F3 runs. And it'll be a couple of weeks before I can look at those other 2 non-running sleds. The one that has the possible rusted steering parts has sparks, so I could always use that engine for another project, or take the skis and use them to make a bobsleigh for hauling logs. So one of those 2 sleds will get going on that deal, but I won't be able to get to it for 2 weeks because the guy has to work today and I have to work tomorrow. We're both working when we can make the deal happen. So yeah, it kind of stinks, but that's life. You got to work to feed the family. So what can you do, right? So well, let's see how that Formula 3 runs. Yeah, funny thing is, on that Formula 3, I think that was the first year the Formula 3 came out, and they had a very few models, or it was 95. I can't remember which was the first year, 95 or 96 was when the Formula 3 600 came out. And that was a pretty ground-shaking snowmobile at the time, because it was like Skidoo's first high-performance 600, and since then the 600 triples have faded out. They have the turbo 4-strokes and 800 2-stroke twins, so they'll outrun it. But at the time, the 600s were very popular and very, very quick. I mean, they smoked the twins, the 600 twins, by a long shot. So yeah, if the guy wants a 650, I'm going to offer a little bit less. See what he takes. Yeah, if it starts easy enough, well, that'll make it easier to pay closer to what he wants. But you know how the dance goes. They start at one price, and you start at another, and meet somewhere in the middle. Let's see how it goes. So back at it. As you can see, I got the snowmobile. Yeah, I could not believe how low on miles it was. 1,188 on the odometer. And it started on the 3rd pull. So, and the one guy said, you can't let these triples idle too long or they'll fall the plug. So, you get it started, get it off of the choke, and start, running it. Otherwise, it's going to fall out. So now to get some breakfast and try to unload it by myself. I had 3 people to load it, which wasn't really easy. But, yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to get it unloaded. I'll just pull up somewhere in my place and pull it off and call it a day, and then put a pallet under it so the track doesn't get froze to the ground. Put some blocks of wood under the skis and should be set. And no snow at my place, so yeah, it's just a big old sheet of ice. Yeah, I think my buddy's truck would definitely get stuck here, so I just stopped in at the neighbor to see if I could work out a deal with maybe get the logs for the sawmill from his trees and cut the rest up into firewood. So we'll see how that deal goes. I'll check in with him later. And I gotta watch out where I'm going here so I don't hurt the van. Kind of hard to hurt it any worse than it is if you saw the outside and this is your first video of mine. So yeah, stay to this side. I don't have as big a dip as I do over there. Then I can, now with the trees taken out, I can get a better angle at getting in here. But I'm gonna be back later to get this firewood out of the way and maybe cut these stumps down a little bit more. If I time it just right, I'll just barely touch that one stump at the right rear. There he goes. Yeah, I gotta get these stumps cut down so I can get the log truck back here. Spin, spin. Oop, stuck. All I did was just slide. Someone explained to me how this happened. When sliding backwards, and it went, and the van got, looks like it's hung up on the stump, so probably have to call for a rescue of some sort. Well, it started on one pole. I was running earlier and see how much of a pull it takes here. Yeah, I just, without much snow, I just took it for a spin to get it around into position here. And holy cow, does that thing go. You just barely touch the gas and you're moving. So at least something came out of it. Got the van unstuck. It cost 150 bucks. So I'm gonna take you over to where it was. And see, you know, there's not much snow. I just ran it enough to hide it back here. So yeah, I got blocks of wood I could put under there. Keep the track off the ground. I'll do that. But I'm going to get the cover. You know, and yeah, if you're coming back here with a pickup truck, you're going to need, with a load to get around this spot, is minimum four-wheel drive and probably tire chains because of this ice in some spots. Yeah, with pulling a load, you're definitely going to need that. This was the spot where it got stuck. And that was a log. It's been rotated now 180 degrees, but and that tow truck just lifted it up, moved it over, lifted up, rolled the log out, moved it over. I just drove right forward like it was nothing. Had a little slight wheel spin, but you know, I had enough traction, got it up there, turned the van around, and there it sits. Don't know if I'm going to come back here at all anymore. I don't have the batteries for my chainsaw, otherwise I'd get some work done. I was about to leave, and then I passed the cab, went past the cabin, and yeah, that's a drainage right there. That's a small lake. Yeah, good thing I decided not to build in there, because that is a lot of water in there. I'm not even going to try to go down there and measure it. But yeah, you can imagine how bad that would be to try to drive through. So what I'm going to do is when I build the house, until I get proper snow removal equipment, I'm just going to keep this area here cleared like a parking lot, and then ride snowmobiles back and forth until I get a proper driveway in and the snow removal equipment, because you do not want to get stuck back there. You have to keep it maintained and cleared if you're going to want to drive back there with cars in the winter. Look like a little, just a water, but holy cow, this is definitely a small pond. Some of you call it a lake, so you could say I got waterfront property and I'll go fishing right off my front porch. Yeah, that's several inches of ice, and this is the drainage area. And if only I had video of when I had the semi-truck stuck down in here last spring, yeah, you would say, yeah, build somewhere else. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm going to build way out in the back. But yeah, this definitely is a trouble spot, but a good way to secure your stuff too. You know, if they see the big old pool of ice, they might try to drive through it, and then they break through, and then they're stuck. Now they're trespassing, and you have to call the tow truck or try to winch themselves out. But yeah, so having a driveway like this is not a bad idea for, you know, keep this one visible, and they think this is the way to go. Now I get my bar and chain wheel out of the shed and go do some cutting back there.